MVP hosted a VIP lounge introducing the newest member of the Hurt Business, Cedric Alexander, who said that he was tired of being on the wrong end of a beatdown. Now he's ready to learn and earn. Now I should note that Shelton Benjamin was acting very skeptical of Alexander. He was trying to make sure this guy wasn't playing games with them. There is still a chance that this could all be an elaborate setup and he actually hasn't turned heel. I think that would be kind of dumb, considering what he did to his friends and the way they got beaten up, but I think it is official. I think he is a heel. This led to a match because we have 3 hours to fill. We got to put these guys back in the ring on the same show. We had the Hurt Business taking on the Viking Raiders, Ricochet and Apollo Crews. And unfortunately, what came along with that was a very real injury to Ivar. And it came on a dive out of the ring. Now, I have ranted on these stupid dives so many times. What's one more, right? What's one more rant? And I want to make this very clear. I'm not trying to pick on Ivar. This, for me, was just kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. This is how I have felt for a long time, and then watching this poor guy get hurt just kind of set me off. I really, really, really wish they would leave the dives to the cruiserweights. I don't want to see Dexter Lumis doing dives out of the ring. Another one who got hurt recently on a dive and has not been seen on TV since. I don't need to see 350-pound Bronson Reed doing a dive as I saw him doing last week. I don't need to see 300-pound Ivar doing dives. All you're doing is asking for something bad to happen, and now it has. And everybody can bitch and bemoan the overuse of the super kick in wrestling. If that's your hill to die on, then great. I choose to die on the hill of all these dives in every match. Every company. Enough with the fucking dives. For the most part, I don't think this is much of a hot take here. For the most part, they all look like shit anyway. They look like shit. Everybody stands there and they wait for the person to dive onto them, and then they take turns. They take turns so that everybody can dive. And they all get right back up and they move on to the next spot anyway. So what's the point? They don't look good. They do no damage, other than in this case to the person executing the move. The Undertaker used to dive out of the ring once a year, and it was a big deal. When big guys are diving out of the ring every night, it is no longer a big deal. This is across the board. I am not just talking about WWE. I'm not just taking them to task for allowing this to happen, because WWE is not telling them to dive, but they're allowing it to happen. They have allowed it to infect every single match on every single show every single week. Everyone, AEW, leave it for guys like Darby and Jungle Boy, but everybody else, the Kenny Omega Terminator dive, and everybody else who does it, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the diving. If all these wrestlers want to dive so badly, then they should have gotten into swimming, not wrestling. You're not Michael fucking Phelps. Enough with the dives. And again, I'm not trying to beat up on Ivar here. Ivar was just the last straw that set me off on this. You guys know I have felt this way for a long time. And I always thought it was so selfish. Thought it was so selfish to take something that the smaller wrestlers have traditionally relied on so heavily to sort of set themselves apart from the bigger guys. The bigger guys that would do the traditional power moves and power spots. You will have bigger guys that will do a move off the top rope and stuff. Vader, Vader was doing a moonsault off the top rope. But he wasn't doing it every night. But I always thought it was so selfish to take that and start doing these dives like they were nothing. And now it doesn't even matter anymore because you'll have Ricochet doing a dive in one match, and in the next match you'll have someone twice his size doing the same move. So you tell me, what's going to look more impressive? A 190-pound guy doing a dive or a 290-pound guy doing a dive? So Ivar did a dive out through the ropes to take out the Hurt Business. He wiped them all out. It did not look particularly devastating. It did not look as if he hurt himself. It did not look like he landed awkwardly or anything. Well, maybe a little awkwardly, but there was nothing that immediately would have told you, uh-oh, he landed wrong, he hurt himself, he broke something is wrong. The only reason we knew that something was wrong is because Ivar immediately put the X sign up with his hands. He did it himself. Usually the referee does it. In this case, Ivar knew instantly. Instantly, he knew something was wrong. And he was calling for help. And you could tell he was trying to regain the feeling in his hands, in his fingers, his fingertips, like maybe he suffered a stinger, lost some of the feeling in his extremities there briefly. We don't have a diagnosis yet other than a report saying that it's a cervical injury of some kind, and he could be out for a while. And that not only sucks for Ivar, it sucks for Eric too, because when you're in a tag team and your partner goes down with an injury, it affects your career every bit as much as it affects the person who actually got hurt. If you are in a tag team in WWE and your partner gets hurt, you are fucked. Rarely do they do anything with the other person. Look at Razar of AOP. He got hurt earlier this year. And they took Akam off TV. There was nothing wrong as far as I can remember. There was nothing physically wrong with Akam. They were part of the Seth Rollins faction. Why couldn't they just keep Akam around? It's like the bodyguard or the muscle of the group. But they took him off TV, and then they waited 6 months when they were ready to come back, and then they fired him. You know, Jimmy Uso got hurt. And what happened? Jey Uso disappeared. Now, they did bring him back to TV after a while. But what has he done? What has he really done up until now? Now they're doing something with Jey Uso because they want to get Roman Reigns over as a bigger heel by having him destroy his own flesh and blood. That's why Jey Uso is getting this Universal title match at Clash of Champions. Not because we got some big plan for Jey Uso. It's because, right place, right time. This is the perfect way to get Roman Reigns over as just an evil son of a bitch. He's going to beat the piss out of one of the members of his own family, his own cousin, one of his best friends. So we can use that. We can use Jey Uso. So now he's going to get a Universal title match at Clash of Champions. The one and only pay-per-view main event of his career. Good for him. Before this, what was the last thing that we really saw Jey Uso doing? He was hosting fucking karaoke contest on TV. That is the biggest drawback to being in a tag team. So I feel sorry for both of them. Ivar tweeted, he said, "From the bottom of my heart, thank you to every single friend, fan, family that has reached out to me. My heart is truly touched from all the love and support. Still figuring it all out, but I'm working hard to recover and be better than ever." And I hope he does. I wish him all the best. I never like seeing anybody get hurt, but this is not an injury that had to happen. That's the other thing that pisses me off. This did not have to happen. I'm not even sure why they were out there. We already saw these people earlier in the show. Not the Vikings, but the other guys. There was no reason to run them back out there a second time in the same show. Other than, it's 3 hours and we have time to fill, and so now, here we are. And it sucks.